Welcome to Lead with Thanks, the bite-sized interview series from Thankbox, where we spotlight leaders who know that appreciation isn't just a nice to have, it's a game changer for workplace culture. My name is Tsvetelina, I'm co-founder of Thankbox, and in each episode, I'll be chatting with inspiring leaders and HR professionals who are putting gratitude at the heart of how they lead. Let's get going. Welcome back to Lead with Thanks. I'm absolutely delighted to have Dawn Smedley with us today to talk all about appreciation. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So, Dawn, we officially met only a few weeks ago, didn't we? And I still can't believe it took us that long.
I know. I feel like you've been following me from afar as the number one commenter on the Culture Whisperer podcast posts, and
Exactly.
And we're a Thankbox user right here at
Yeah.
WorkBuzz. So our paths have crossed in different ways. So, like you
Yeah.
said, it's been a long time coming.
Absolutely. As you said, I have been following you for a long time. I absolutely love your podcast. So The Culture Whisperer, for anybody who doesn't know it, please go and check it out immediately. It's brilliant. I've learned so much from it, but I think it was the episode with Vicky Gledhill, the appreciation one.
Yeah.
That really got me to message you and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. I mean, I have to say that I send it to everybody now. The whole team has heard it a million times. And yeah, especially grateful to have you today because obviously you've been a long-standing Thankbox client and you've helped so many people understand the power of appreciation, how to build a strong culture and what it means. And it means the world to me that you're here. So thank you so much. And to kick things off, could you share a bit about yourself, your career journey, where you're now? And then we'll dive into the questions.
Absolutely. So I've worked in HR tech now for about 15 years. I can't quite believe that myself. And I really started working for two big global recognition companies, so BI Worldwide and OC Tanner. And that's where I found my true love of all things appreciation and actually had the job title of Appreciatologist for a while.
Wow, you always have the most amazing titles. I love it. Do you come up with them?
I honestly can't remember where that came from, but it was always the best conversation starter in any meeting because people were like, tell us more. Yeah. So I quite like a job title for that. It's like a conversation starter. Yeah. So I absolutely loved both of those roles. And actually, the last one working at OC Tanner really gave me such a positive grounding in global culture, with recognition and appreciation as the undercurrent of really building that culture where we help people feel valued and heard and really get that sense of belonging. And then I moved to an amazing company about 6 years ago called WorkBuzz, where I changed tack a little bit. And WorkBuzz is all about giving everyone a voice wherever they are, whatever they do. So recognition forms one part of that, but I've absolutely loved that journey too because it's given me different perspectives and more research-backed understanding of why appreciation matters. And I was really keen to do that because appreciation and recognition is just one aspect. It can underpin everything else, but actually, unless we understand everything else that's going on, then we don't really know how to apply that very well. And then the way that we met is my little passion project that's on the side, and that's through the Culture Whisperer podcast, which has given me an amazing platform really to interview really inspiring leaders that I've met along the way, and that's all about the small things that make it the biggest difference when it comes to culture. So I love doing the one with Vicky because I'm so lucky that our paths crossed, and we worked together when she was at Manchester Airport Group back in the day where we built a culture of recognition there as well. So she is so inspiring, and I know you've had a chat with her since, but she's amazing. She'd be a great person to get on here as well.
She agreed as well, so I'm super excited for that as well. But wow, you've had such an amazing experience, not just through your work, but also through meeting so many incredible leaders. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And to start with, can you tell me about a time when you personally felt truly appreciated at work? What was the situation? What What was involved? Who was involved? What happened? I'd love to know.
So I've probably got a couple of stories that I can talk to. The first was my 5-year anniversary when I worked at Tsvetelina. Now, high expectations, right? It's a recognition company, so you want them to get it right. So there was always this expectation because at Tsvetelina they celebrated not just long service awards, as in like at 10 and 20 years. They celebrated at 1, 3, 5. So you knew it was coming, right? And the 5-year one's a big one. And there's lots of research that evidences that at that 5-year mark, it's a really critical point because lots of people are thinking you've got that 5-year itch. Is it time to do something new? Is it time to move on? Actually, when you bring in career celebrations, it can be a real strategic driver to remind people what they're part of, remind people how much they love the company. So there was a lot of expectation on it for me. So I knew it was going to be good, right? And what they did a really good job of was pulling in different people from across the organisation. People shared lots of stories about the contributions that they've made. But what made this so special for me is that they asked my husband and my kids to contribute.
Wow.
As I was preparing for this, actually, I found the video that my husband did for me, and it's about 90 seconds long, but it made me cry just listening back because I think what we forget at work is that it isn't just about how we show up at work, it's how our families support us, and they know the whole journey. They know everything that's gone before, they know everything that it took to get to that moment as well, and all the sacrifices, all of those things, all the wobbles that you have when your confidence might be taking a knock or whatever it might be. So to have him do this video and really talk to how proud he was of me and the journey that we've been on. Oh my God, it was just a beautiful thing. And then my kids, who were tiny at the time as well, just waffling away in the background going, "We love you, mummy."
I love that.
It was the most gorgeous thing ever. So, yes, it was always going to be good, but they took it a level up by bringing in families and friends. And I think for anyone listening, why not do that? Why not for those significant anniversaries, or if someone genuinely has gone above and beyond, bring in family members. Like it just expands that emotional connection more than you'll ever realize. So that was the first one. The second one was some impromptu recognition that I got at WorkBuzz, and I had no idea this was coming. And I think that's the other thing. If you can surprise someone, and although it's great to have structured recognition programs and everything else, there is nothing better than the surprise element. And I got this in a team meeting, and all of a sudden the chair of the company, our investors came into the room, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And then Steve, our CEO, started sharing some stories about the contribution that I'd made to the business.
Wow.
And it just came from nowhere. I was completely what's the word? I don't know what the word is. Sideswiped, whatever. You know what I mean? And I just burst into tears. It was like such a beautiful moment. He was emotional. You could see people in the room. You could see them welling up. And it wasn't just about what I'd done. I was being recognised just for being me, right?
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful. It was so
Wow.
heartfelt. So yeah, I'm really grateful and realise how lucky I am to be able to talk to such powerful moments that I've had in my career as well. But how good is it if we can create these for other people?
Exactly. Oh my God. And can I just say, these are two such amazing things. Like in the first seeing you, not just as a person at work, but seeing you as a whole, that you've got
Yeah.
personal life, you've got work life, and combining this is brilliant. And it didn't take them much effort, did it?
No.
And the impact that they created on you is incredible. And then obviously at WorkBuzz, again, something that didn't take a huge amount of effort, but made you feel so special, so seen for who you are.
And that's what it should be, right? It's never about the stuff. I think the stuff can be a lasting reminder of it. And it's that tangible ability to go back and remember what you did, and being able to go back and watch that video from Paul that still exists now, that's from years ago now, but, it still has that same impact.
I love that. And how can we make this a normal thing at a company? Like, how can we encourage more of that? Not just for special occasions, but spontaneous. happening all the time.
Yeah, and I think you have to take people on the journey. I think we think that people know how to give recognition and how to show up in that way. And I think what I've learned over the years is that the majority of people have had really bad experiences when it comes to recognition. They've been made to stand up in front of people where they're not necessarily comfortable with that. What's been said hasn't really felt as if the person really knew what they were talking about. They've got the name wrong, or something really that seems really insignificant but really matters. So I think we have to get people to understand the power that it has when it's done right, but also how to do it. And I think inside our organisations, it does help if we're really intentional about what we do and why we're doing it. So my advice would be like to really start with your leaders at all levels, like really encourage them to get to know their teams. One thing we do when people join WorkBuzz is a short quiz that we get them to fill in that talks to that. What makes you feel the most appreciated? How do you take your coffee? Like, what's your favourite food? What's your favourite restaurant? And although it's like a 10-question quiz, we share it with managers so they know those things. So when they're thinking about how to appreciate them or recognise them or get their favourite chocolate bar, they've got a starting point, right? And so little things that you can put in place that are all about enabling managers to know their teams better. Don't assume that everyone feels comfortable saying thank you. Like I said, many people will have experienced recognition done badly. I remember when I was speaking to an organisation many years ago, and we were trying to get budget sign-off from the CFO. And he was one of the most cynical people in the room when it came to why we were doing it and the culture of recognition. And we dug deeper. And as we continued chatting with him, like over the course of a few weeks and months, it became really apparent that this was a really personal thing. He'd had an experience where he'd been recognised really badly in front of people, and that had affected his whole opinion and feeling around what good recognition looks like. And we created a moment for him in front of his executive team where he was recognised by them and people shared story. It was a really personal, really special. This was around his career anniversary as well. It changed everything. So I think the power that you can have is converting your cynics. Understand why they don't believe in it and try and get underneath the skin of it, and then work with them to experience a moment where they see it in its full glory, where it's genuine and real, linked to values, whatever it might be. But you can turn those cynics around, and that's a little bit about what Vicky talks about on the Appreciation podcast as well. And that's what she's always done an amazing job of.
You've absolutely hit the nail there a few times by saying that we need to provide the right way for the person offering appreciation to do it in a way that makes them feel comfortable first off, and then to know the person well enough to give them appreciation in the way that will make them feel really ready to receive the appreciation. So I think these examples were brilliant to pinpoint those two facts, that you need to put a little bit of effort to know the person and to choose the right way for you that makes you feel comfortable to offer appreciation.
Yeah, it makes all the difference. And I think taking it one step further, you can actually train people how to give recognition and how to do it properly, and remind people that it does need to be timely. So do it as close to the thing that happened as possible. So be genuine, be real, be specific about what they did. Because I think the other thing that we miss with recognition is how other people are listening. And it's an amazing way of showcasing what good looks like, so people understand that, and then that behaviour gets repeated. You can weave in some sort of recognition training into how you develop leaders. I remember an amazing chap that I used to work with called David Sturt, who was based out in Salt Lake City in the US. He used to use the SAIL acronym when he was teaching people how to give recognitions. S stood for situation, talk about the challenge. A stood for action, so describe what they did. I was for impact, so explain the difference that was made. And then L is the link, so connect it to company values. So that's SAIL acronym as well, or create your own, right? but
Yeah.
one that actually brings to life a structure that enables people to really think when I'm writing a recognition nomination, when I'm thinking about doing a presentation, have I been specific? Have I talked about the challenge? Have I talked about what they did? Have I talked about the impact that it had for the business? And have I linked it to a value? Because when you do all of those things, then it becomes a strategic driver for the things that you want to see more of within the organizations that we work with and for.
Wow, I love that. This is brilliant. We need to talk more about that because you're 100% right. The structure is really important as well. Like hitting those points will make a really lasting appreciation, won't it?
Yeah, and it's simple, right? Lots of organizations love an acronym, whether that's for their values or anything else. So
Yeah.
make up your own, create something that actually links into what you're doing internally, but make it really memorable so people can go back to it time and time again. If you're lucky enough to have a recognition platform or an intranet or whatever you use, pin it to the channel, pin it to where you're getting people to nominate, and it just acts as that reminder again. I worked for another chap, another guy actually called Kevin Ames, and he was Stephen Covey trained, so an incredible speaker. He used to stand on the stage, and you could hear a pin drop in the room as he told these amazing stories about recognition and appreciation. But he always used to say, before you write any recognition to anyone, have a book of poetry in front of you. Read a poem, get yourself into the mindset of the beauty of words and the beauty of
Wow.
writing, and then use that to reframe, reset where you are at the point that you're writing it. So it really is heartfelt. I have been surrounded by so many inspiring leaders over the years, but all of these things stick in my head. And although I don't have a poetry book in front of me, always try and get yourself into the zone before you do anything, and be in that moment as you're thinking about the person and what they did.
So based on that, you said that you always try and get yourself in the mood. Can you tell me of a situation where you shared appreciation and what response did you get? What happened?
Well, I found this a really hard question to come up with one story actually, because there's been so many over the years. What it did really bring to the fore in my mind was a really powerful moment that I experienced, and it was when we were launching a career celebration program for a holiday park company, and we talked about the power of surprise presentations earlier. So we decided we were going to try and create one of these live at this manager conference. And there's a bit of inherent risk in that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're relying on somebody standing on a stage and taking on board everything that you've told them and then doing it, right?
Wow.
So it was a bit of a risk. And so we were coaching this leader ahead of this surprise presentation on how to be genuine, and to be honest, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
We weren't really getting a lot back at this
Oh.
point. Looked to be taking it in, but wasn't particularly kind of animated or getting excited about it. But we decided to carry on, and it was a long server who had been there for 10 years plus, I think. And anyway, this guy got up on the stage, started off a bit awkwardly. So I'm
Okay.
there kind of like, stiffening up, just thinking, oh, come on, you can do this, you can do this. But then he really started to open up and share some amazing stories about the difference this person had made. And you could hear the emotion in his voice. When someone's voice starts to wobble a little bit.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear this, it gets me going as well. And as I looked around the room, the atmosphere changed.
Wow.
You could have literally heard a pin drop, and I felt goosebumps, and I could see tears beginning to form in people's eyes. And it was so unbelievably powerful. And
Wow.
it was so heartfelt and genuine and real. And it was everything that we'd hoped it would be. But this is the power that appreciation and recognition can have. It's really not about the stuff. It really is about those moments of connection that we create with other people. And when we get that right, it does create goosebumps. It does create tears. We should be aiming for that, because what does that equal? It equals loyalty. It equals commitment. It gives people that sense of belonging and being seen and heard and valued, and they feel part of something. But it has a ripple effect on everyone. Everyone in that room felt that. And there's lots of research that shows that actually giving recognition is more powerful than receiving it. It makes us feel better. It plays
Yeah.
into gratitude and all of those things as well. So anyway, so that was
No.
the story that really kind of stood out for me when you asked about that ripple effect, because I saw it, I felt it, and it was super powerful.
Did it make you go and share appreciation to somebody else after that?
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
like I use that story time and time again. You know, sometimes I think we think it's a very American thing, you know, the gushing kind of nature of it all. This was with a company from the Northeast, like salt of the earth, a spade's a spade, you know, not necessarily talking about emotions
Yeah.
and really story sharing in that way, but it can happen to anyone at any level. And it's not about seniority, it's just about giving everyone the opportunity to be appreciated. And I think that's the important thing in terms of how you build a culture of recognition, is making sure everyone feels that they can receive recognition in some way, shape, or form.
No, I love that. I totally agree. It's really, really important to give everyone the chance to offer appreciation and to receive appreciation. And I agree, you should start from the top, absolutely. But I think the more powerful thing is when peer-to-peer happens, when you get appreciation from your team and you see how the team bonds together through that.
But interestingly, you know, recognize up as well. That's something that we don't
Exactly.
do very well,
Yeah.
or feel uncomfortable with, because we feel that it's like sucking up, but it's not. It's about recognizing that we are all human beings, right? We all want to feel valued for the contributions that we make, and that's at whatever level. So it's up, down, left, right, down, up, every direction. That's how recognition
Yeah.
should be happening.
Absolutely. And it's exactly a change in mindset. So you don't feel like you're sucking up when you offer appreciation upwards. It's just a little shift there where appreciation is just normal, whatever happens, whoever it's from.
Yeah.
I love that. And I guess just as a last question is like, if someone wants to start today to offer appreciation, what would your advice be? How should they start?
I think it goes back to building an inclusive recognition strategy, which is about giving everyone the opportunity to be recognised. And what you said earlier really matters. Peer-to-peer recognition is so powerful. You want that to be happening everywhere, up, down, left, right, all the time.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and you can do that via e-cards if you've got a structure around that. You can write notes to people, you can send thank boxes, you can do whatever it is. But actually, the consistent thing I've heard over the years when I've run focus groups is that people just want a thank you. They want people to notice what they've done and take the time to tell them. And that's it, right? That's about feeling valued and appreciated. So lots of peer-to-peer stuff happening. Do celebrate above and beyond. I think this is that opportunity to really showcase what good looks like, but link it to values, because when you link things to values, if your values are the right ones, everyone at every level should be living those values day in, day out. So help people understand what that looks like, what does above and beyond look like, and be really clear about that. And then career celebrations is something I'm really passionate about, because I think this has got bad press over the years because everyone's talked about long service awards. But career celebrations, it should be celebrated. It's like having our birthday at work and celebrating who we are and the contributions that we've made in the time that we've been there. So I think it's a miss sometimes. So, but gather people together, share stories, make it into a moment, make it into an opportunity to connect. A CEO for my old company, Tsvetelina, used to say that actually he used to try and attend as many career celebrations or recognition moments as he could, because actually it reminded him, he might be having a really bad day, he might have, you know, like, but it always reminded him of the great people that work there and that we were going to get there, whatever happens, right? So
I love that.
listening to those stories is
Yeah.
powerful. It really reminds you what you're part of and the difference that you're making. And that's the ripple effect, right? So attend them, be there, listen, be part of that experience, contribute. And don't forget the power of building that culture of recognition the minute that someone walks through the door when they join you as well. And that's how we use Thankbox,
Yeah.
actually, is we send a thank box out signed by the team, because everyone can contribute to it, the week before they join. And we intentionally do that because on the day, we found that it got lost in all the emails that come through. But actually, if we send it the week before, people are opening it at home. They, look what I just got. Haven't I joined this amazing company? And it's building that emotional connection from the start. So again, just really think about the employee experiences that you're trying to create and be really intentional about making them as powerful as you can at every touch point would be my advice.
Wow. I mean, just wow. Thank you so much. There's so much for people to learn from you, and I hope they follow you on Culture Whisperers and your journey. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Lead with Thanks. You've heard so many brilliant examples of how appreciation can make a difference in people's lives. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to share it with your colleagues and follow us on LinkedIn for more daily insights. If you want to put gratitude into action right now, send a thank box and make someone's day. Until next time, keep leading with thanks.